Welcome. Who's here? I saw a few people I recognize. The first person was Sing with Lulu. You're first. Welcome. Yoon, Natalie, Matt, Mornadia. Let's see who else. Kat, Gummy Girl, Nikki. I can't say your name. Keith. Hey, Keith. I think I saw a couple other people. Cosma, I recognize you, of course. Fi, Winte, kind of reading some names. See who else. Soli, Ivevu Kisuku Kiwiki. The person's name? Hello. Diala. Okay, I think I should stop because it's getting harder and harder to read these names. Kat and Mikey, welcome everyone. You are all here a little bit early. Before we get started, feel free to ask any questions you want before the class starts. The lesson we have for today is going to be about debun. Debun is for beginner and intermediate level. So if you are beginner level, you're in the right spot. If you're like, oh no, this is too easy, I'm not a beginner, well then you're in the right spot. If you're like, I'm advanced, Billy, well you're probably in the wrong spot. This is not advanced, but it's definitely an intermediate level topic as well. So we'll be learning both of those. The form that everyone probably already knows, if you've learned this before, we're going to do that. But we're also going to be doing a form that uses this with verbs that you might not know, and it's an intermediate level form, and also a common way that you'll hear this used by itself, which you really might not know unless you're, like I said, unless you're advanced, then everything here is going to be review. But then if you're advanced, it's still review, and review is still useful, right? So this lesson is really for everyone. Like everyone in the entire world, all however many 8 billion people of us around the world, this lesson is for everyone. This lesson about debun will unite people across the entire world, bring world peace. We'll all understand each other because we'll all speak in Korean. It'll just be beautiful. I'm looking forward to today's lesson. Keith gives a hello there. Cosma says, I didn't get to record the video yet, but I prepared a small memo on what I should talk about, so I have a small structure. Nice. I'm always asleep when you're live. Yeah, time difference. I'm sorry, there is no time that I could do where everyone would be able to come. I'm always excluding like half of the globe, no matter when I do my streams. Why did you want to be a Korean teacher after learning Korean? I didn't. Billy, your lighting is different. Oh yeah, that's because, wait, let's see which side of my face. This side of my face is a little bit darker, right? Yeah, I think I can fix that a little bit. Just give me a second. I think this should improve it a little bit. That's a little bit better, right? Right? Just say yes. Just say it's better. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I didn't want to be a Korean teacher after I learned Korean. I didn't even want to like necessarily only do Korean either. I had studied several languages and Korean was just my third. And after Korean, I was like, you know what? That was fun. Now let's try another language. And I was going to go on to, I did Mandarin and I started Cantonese and I was going to do Thai. And yeah, I just started that because I was helping people online with Korean because I figured, oh, people have Korean questions. And I was following a bunch of communities for, for French, Japanese, and Korean. And then I was going for Mandarin and Cantonese, like, following all these communities for learning languages, thinking I'm going to be one of those cool people that learns lots of languages. And then people were asking a bunch of Korean questions and they're all having the same exact question over and over, like the same question. And I'd be, answer it. And then the next week, the exact same question. So I, copy paste my answer, tune it to what they asked. And then the same question. I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'm just going to make a video that I can copy and paste the link to whenever someone has this question again. And that started my channel. So totally true story. Olivia says, I'm not advanced. I'm really bad at it. Okay. Well, then this lesson is perfect for you. Mikey. Hey, Mikey. Thank you. Mikey is our sponsor for today. Mikey. Mikey, also you asked a question, I guess. Getting on that board. Thank you. Since I started as a self-learner, I'm missing a lot of random yet important words. How do I find them and fill in the gaps? Okay, Mikey, I don't want to give you a general answer, so I'm going to ask, where do you notice these missing words? Where, like, what situations are you in where you notice these missing words? Is it while you're reading something specifically? Is it when you're talking with someone? Is it when you're listening to music? Is it when you're watching shows or movies? Is it when you're watching YouTube channels? Like, what is it? What is the situation where you're missing those words? I'm going to give you a similar answer no matter what you say, but I'll tailor it to which one of those you say. So think about that. Depending on which it is, I don't know if you're going to answer right away. I'll give you like 10 seconds to answer. If not, I'm just going to give you a generic answer to that you can fill in the blank with. Conversations. Okay, conversations. Mikey, I'm having a conversation with Mikey here. Have you watched my Conversation Korean course? It's free, but have you watched the Conversation Korean course? Because the types of vocab you're going to miss is completely different for all those. Most people don't know this who are just starting to learn Korean. If you're new to learning Korean, the types of words you'll see in books are very different than the types of words you'll see in a textbook, and are very different than the types of words you're going to see in a news article and a TV show and a YouTube channel, and especially Korean dramas, and even more especially songs. So that is probably obvious if you've been learning for a while, but in case you're new, these are different sets of vocabulary words you're gonna hear. Just the same as in English. Like, are you gonna need to know supercalifragilisticexpialidocious outside of talking about Disney movies and that song? Like, no, like there's a different subset of words. So, Mikey, I see a donation. Give me 1 second. I'm going to acknowledge your donation. Just want to make sure I answer Mikey first. So how do I find them is the question. The only way to find those words is by pretty much doing what I was doing and a lot of other people do, where when you hear a word you don't know, you try to look it up. And I would do it a different way. I didn't want to like look it up during a conversation because I felt that was kind of rude. Like it would kill the conversation. I would write these words down in a separate notebook. Like I had a little notebook, a little pad of paper or just a piece of paper, whatever. And then when I was back at my house throughout the day or at nighttime, whenever I went back home or the next day, I would go through that list and look up the words and then only learn the ones that I heard multiple times. So if I saw a word that was like, you know, the word for, you know, like bed or, you know, something like that, like chimde, like really simple word, I'd be like, oh, this is a good word. I should write it down. It's a good word to know. But if it's like, what was that word? What was that word? There's one that I had from my vocab deck that was something for like a specific type of wood tumbleweed. It was like a type of tumbleweed. I can't remember right now. Anyway, like really awkward words that like you would never use. See, I can't even think about it. Words that you like never need. If you see one of those words, then you can ignore it. Focus on just the words you see appearing multiple times. Don't just bother writing down like memorizing every single word. But if you hear a word used multiple times, those are what I go for. Besides that, it's okay to use the like most common, the 6,000 frequency word list, but not for learning new words. I would say you can go through it and only write down the ones that you've heard before and ignore the ones you haven't heard before, because there are a lot of words in there. They're all common because that's the frequency list's definition. They're common words, but that doesn't mean you are going to encounter those. They're just common in general. That can include dramas and TVs and songs and everything. But there are going to be a lot of words in there that you are not going to ever hear very often. So you could get kind of a shortcut, go use that, but only pick out the words that you've heard before, definitely, and that you think are useful to know. And it wouldn't be 6,000 words. It might be only a few hundred at that point. But yeah, that's what I'll say. And I can talk more about that, but that's enough for right now. And Samara, thank you so much. I didn't want to miss your donation. I just wanted to make sure I finished Mikey's first. Samara, thank you so much. How should I write your name? Samataduta. Wow. $50. Awesome. You are our stream's producer for this live stream. And you say, thank you all for the content you put out there for us Korean learners. Best wishes to you and your family during this holiday season. Thank you. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's still like the holidays because Christmas is over now, but we still have the New Year to look forward to. And that means New Year's resolutions. Yes. Billy, can you see this? Yes, I see your text. And then, so Mikey, as far as the conversations go, the conversation course also has a lot of those words too, like the really common words in it, but there aren't that many words you have to learn. Fortunately, I did a video in my Korean FAQ series a few years ago where I went and listened to a couple streamers and I picked out their most commonly used words. Like I prepared a list of just the most commonly used words I took their videos, transcribed them, and then took that list and fed it into a program that sorts by the frequently used words. And the majority of it, like almost all of the words, like 90-something%, was all within 3,000 of the same words over and over again. There aren't that many words you need for conversation, which is great. I think conversational Korean is like the most reachable goal for any learner, just because it doesn't require so many words that you would need for like watching drama or, reading the newspaper or understanding songs. Those require a different set of vocabulary words on top of the common ones. In fact, maybe even separate from the common ones. You'll see a lot of just different words that are only used in like poetry and stuff. But for conversation, it's really like 4,000 words will get you over 90% of the way there. And if you just listen to a lot of conversations and just write down the words you frequently hear, you're going to get all of them. And a good way to get real conversation practice is YouTube vlogs, because people are speaking normally. There are a lot of good Korean teachers on YouTube, some of which I'm friends with, and they'll make videos where they're just speaking naturally with someone in Korean with subtitles. And that's great. Like that's all you need. You don't need someone necessarily telling a story. You just want people talking. So I know like Didi's podcast, everyone who does listening practice in Korean knows Didi's podcast. She has conversations in Korean with other people. Watch those videos. You can just hear what is an actual conversation, albeit clear and slowly for learners, but it's still natural Korean. And you can just hear what do Korean people actually say to each other when they're not, like it's just in the real world kind of thing. Or watch interviews. There are a lot of interviews, Korean channels where they interview people on the streets. Watch those too. And then again, just focus on the words you hear multiple times. So just like watch it, enjoy it with Korean subtitles only. And if you see a word come up a couple times, oh, I saw that word before, write it down. You don't have to learn like hundreds of words at once. Just learn a few each time you do it. Maybe spend like 30 minutes a day watching these videos. Write down, you get 3 or 4 words each time you do it. That's fine. Eventually it'll be fewer and fewer words each time you do it. Okay. Welcome. Any other questions? We have 10 minutes left before we get started. Oh, and if you are a Patreon member, make sure to get the worksheet for today. It has an additional 13 questions, 13 sentences that are higher level than what we're going to do today. So if you are past the beginning level, definitely get the worksheet, because we're only going to have time to do 8 or so, 9, 8 to 9, 8.5, 8.1 example sentences for this lesson. And that's not a lot just because we have to explain all the words in it. But if you want 13 more, get the worksheet. And you can get that right now for free if you are a paying Patreon member. But they're free if you pay, then they're free. Yes. I'm doing italki free talking lessons. What are free talking lessons? Do they have free lessons on there? But yeah, conversational, to get better at, like, to answer this question for anyone else who's wondering, how do I get better at watching understanding Korean dramas, or understanding books, or understanding news articles, or understanding conversations? The answer is to listen to more of exactly just the thing you're trying to understand, because the vocab used in each of those is slightly different. And it's one of the reasons why I encourage not to make your goal of watching Korean dramas without subtitles unless you're already in the advanced level. I would say that's not the goal you want, because the reason is it's kind of like, if to me it sounds like someone saying, I want to get fluent in Korean in under 30 days, or I want to learn perfect Korean in a week. It kind of sounds like that to me. Like eventually you can get to that level, but Korean dramas use a different set of vocabulary a lot of times. So even if you get good at Korean and you can speak Korean, you'll think like, wait, I still can't understand dramas. And that's okay, because you haven't been spending time learning that set of vocabulary words and grammar from dramas. So I would say a better goal is like Korean conversation is a really good goal, and it's practical. You can use it like right away. You can use it everywhere. And dramas are good to understand dramas, but they don't give you any benefit that you can use outside of just being able to watch dramas without subtitles. I think conversations are more useful. If you want to understand like what your favorite idol is saying, that's conversational skill. That's not the skill of understanding Korean dramas at all, because nobody speaks like they do in Korean dramas in real life. They speak like, if you hear idols having conversations, it's like the most standard Korean you'll ever hear. It's very basic Korean, the same words repeated all over and over and over again, because they're just talking casually to each other. Yeah. Koreans like cheese a lot, but not often eating it. That's because dairy is very expensive in Korea. Is Korean like Russian, where you have to know multiple ways to say hello and formal ways? I mean, it's not like Russian, but to answer your second question, there are many different levels of polite speech in Korean. It's not as hard as you think, though. I don't want you to feel like it's confusing. More think of it like English does a lot of the same things Korean does that you don't think about. We have different ways in English of talking to our best friend versus how we talk to a stranger versus how we talk when we are a customer service agent at a company, like when we're answering a phone for a company. These are different styles of speech, right? Sup, dude? Oh, hello there. Good afternoon. How can I help you? Like different voice tone and everything. And does this sound complicated if you are an English speaker already? No, it's like, oh, of course. Korean's the same way. They have different ways of talking to people. They base it on different things than we do. We might base it on how close are we with someone. Whereas Korean, that's part of it, but a lot of it is just in the culture. They have respect for age as well. So you have to think not just, am I close with this person, but also, is this person older than me? Is that, and if so, I'm going to have to kind of give them that extra respect. So it's just a different culture, but the idea is similar. It's not really difficult. It's just one of those things. It just is what it is, and you will learn it by hearing it enough. Free talk. Oh, I see. Free talking. I was thinking you were saying these were like italki lessons, but they were free. I'm like, oh, I didn't know they did that. Yeah. Free talking is perfect. And then for that as well, when you are talking with them, Mikey, if you hear them say a word more than once in the same conversation, like you pick it up, you're like, oh, that's the second time I've heard them say this word. Those are the words you want to write down. You don't necessarily have to learn every word someone says. Like they might teach you this word, like they're talking about this specific word, and it's a little bit advanced for you right now. You're thinking, oh, that's okay, interesting. You don't have to necessarily stress to worry about that one right now. Just do the ones that you hear frequently repeated. Yeah, they're just saying they do free talking lessons, not free talking lessons. Are Korean books easy to read? Depends on the book. Yeah, just a class offered on Italki from a lot of teachers. Yeah, they have free talking classes, which I think are probably their easiest to teach because they don't have to necessarily prepare anything other than maybe just a topic to talk about and then just speak. So it doesn't require like lesson plans and homework and all this stuff. That's like probably my recommended type of lesson to do with a tutor, unless you're really like, you're bleeding money everywhere. then you can go ahead and just hire, you know, the most qualified teacher to do everything for you. But for most people, it's like, you know, you don't have that much time. You're not super rich. You want to get your money's worth with what you're getting. And yeah, free talking is great for that because anyone with or without qualifications can do that. Albeit they might not be able to answer your questions very well, but they can at least talk with you and they can try to answer your questions in Korean, which is still good. I prefer being not respected, like that rude waitstaff restaurant. Keith, are you talking about like 60s diners where they like ignore you? And then they come to your table like chewing gum? What do you want? And you say your order, they don't even say okay, they just write it down and leave. Throw your food on the table. I know what you're talking about, Keith. Yeah, there's kind of a good thing about that. Like if I go to a real Chinese restaurant in like downtown LA, like in Chinatown, you get some good stuff, right? Those wait staff, they couldn't care less about you. They're like, okay, how many people? Like, 3 people. Okay, you sit there. I'm like, all right, thanks. Okay, what do you want? I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. But it's good because if I feel like there's an, I hope this isn't too controversial, but anyone who eats Chinese food at Chinese restaurants know what I'm talking about. The better the Yelp score, the worse the Chinese food is. Like, okay, there is exceptions where they give a bad Yelp score because the food's not very good. There are some restaurants that are just, they're not trying or their kitchen's like way filthy. Okay. But if you see a review for a restaurant that's like 3 stars, food was amazing, but I'm taking off 2 stars for, you know, like something like that. That's a good restaurant. You should go there. And some of my favorite Chinese restaurants are like 3 stars, 3.5 stars. I feel is the sweet spot. Like three can be bad because sometimes you can have like actual, you know, problems with the restaurant just for anywhere. But once it starts getting above 4, I'm like, okay, what are you charging me for? Are you charging me for the service? Because that ain't why I'm going to your restaurant. I want the food. I want the real good stuff. I don't know. It's something I noticed. At least in LA, it's kind of like that. The lower the Yelp score, the better the food. I'd rather they be rude than talk to me like tourists. Yeah. Speaking Korean to someone at a Chinese diner, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. I have gotten to use Chinese at a Chinese restaurant before, but it's like really basic things, you know, please give me this or I want this. I never learned enough Chinese and I forgot pretty much all of it by now, but I never learned much like for having full conversations. It was always like practical Chinese is all that I learned. You know, how much is it? How do I go here? Where is this? What is this? That sort of stuff. I mean, yeah, if I had gone further, then sure. I only did Mandarin for 3 months when I was dating a Chinese girl when I was in college, which is a whole nother story. Bad experience. But then after that, I tried Cantonese for a month, and I absolutely loved my experience. That whole experience with Cantonese. I didn't even have any. I had like 1 or 2 Cantonese friends. It wasn't even for that. I just loved the experience of learning the language. It was so much fun. And then visiting Hong Kong once, also when I was in college. Wonderful. It was all wonderful. Could you share a link to your beginning course? Sure. Okay. I shared in the chat. We'll get started with the lesson in just a few seconds. Right. It's almost the top of the hour. Gummy Girl says, when the Chinese menu is faded and old and the kids are studying in the corner. Yes. When the menus haven't been updated since the 70s and when the menu, the plate, I mean, when the placemat, the paper placemat with the Find Your Zodiac on it, you're in for a good time when you find that. Like, the restaurant turns off the lights to save electricity, but it's like kind of dark outside and cloudy. Yeah, you're going to get some good food. Doesn't Cantonese or Mandarin have over 100 characters? They have more than that. Thanks, Decoy Octopus. Okay. My zodiac is a rabbit. What is mine? Mine's tiger, I think. Yeah. Tiger, right? Actually, I have to check. I think it is. I think it's Tiger. Kat says, okay, we're going to get started with the lesson. I'm just going to read Kat's. I have a friend in Gangnam. In 2 years, they're going to level her apartment and build new. Okay. She owns the place, but she has to move. Well, in Korea, you don't own the land. You own the building. So that hopefully that answers your question. Now, the city would reimburse her the cost, for what's going on, but she's not going to get like, a full payment for everything because the city is the one that owns the land. So it's not quite like in the US where you can purchase like a plot of land and build on it. You can, I believe, outside of major cities, there is land you can buy and stuff, but generally in the city, it's already owned by the city. So you don't own that land. You just own the building on top of it that it's being used for. Mine's a dragon. Diela, I didn't see your message. Okay, let's get started with the lesson. Why did I erase that? I'm going to write it back up. Oh, I love these markers. I finally got like real refillable markers. You can hear the ink. It's got real ink in them. So much better, and they shouldn't dry out in like 1 week like my other ones. Okay. We're going to be learning 2 forms to say thanks to. One that's for beginners and one that's for intermediate level. The first one that's for beginners is simple. You take a noun and then you add a space followed by 덕분. That's all you have to do. So, what does this mean? Well, 덕분 is a noun itself. That means help or favor or just something that's given. Like it's help that's given by someone to someone else. Basically, 덕분 just means help. You can think of it like that. So, noun 덕분 literally means noun help. So like the help of the noun. So because of the help of the noun or thanks to the help of the noun, kind of like that. Literally, but this is how you say thanks to something or thanks to someone. This is most often a person. This will most often be a person. However, it can also be a situation or an action, like thanks to that, right? Or thanks to something that happened. But most of the time it'll be like thanks to my friend, thanks to my brother, thanks to 철수, like that. Okay. I'll leave this up for just a second. Then we'll talk about how it's actually used. Going to move back into the new taller building in 10 years. Ah, okay. Then maybe that's the agreement that the company made is they purchased like she owns the house, right? But she doesn't own the whole building. So whoever owns the building may have made an agreement when they sold it that the people who live there get first dibs of when they build the new one. It could be something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Gangnam is a very expensive place. That's like it's like kind of a rich people place. Like the song Gangnam Style is called that for a reason because it's kind of like the high class type of place. It's like where you go, it's like Beverly Hills sort of thing. So yeah. 솔직히 K-pop 덕분에 한국어에 관심이 생겼어요. You got interested in what is it? Learning Korean thanks to K-pop. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Okay. So this is the basic form. Is you take whatever it is and then you put after it 덕분. So then how is this used? Well, there are 2 ways you can use the word 덕분. The first way is with the verb 이다. So the first way is you simply say, it is thanks to whatever noun. So that could be a person or a situation or an action. So it is thanks to that. The end. So how did you learn Korean? Well, it is thanks to my friend. It's thanks to my friend. Like that. That's it. You can say it like that. You can say it like that. Simply, it is thanks to. And this would conjugate normally. So this would be, for example, like 이에요 or 입니다 or 이야 if you're speaking casually. 인데. Any way you want to conjugate 이다, 이고, whatever. It's up to you, depending on what you're trying to say. I'll give you a quick example of this. Actually, I want a little more space. I'm going to write 친구 up here. 친구, friend, 친구 덕분이에요. So it is 이에요. It is thanks to my friend. 친구 덕분이에요. It's thanks to my friend. That's it. There is nothing else you need to know about how to use 덕분 with a noun and 이다. So let's go on to the more common way that you're going to see 덕분 used. Oh, I got a donation. Lexica, minute 7. Lexica, thank you. 오늘 슈가의 고양이를 만났어요. You met Suga's cat? 너무 예쁘고 귀여워요. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Suga has a cat? Did he show it off in a video in the drinking show that he has? I can't remember the title of that. But yeah, I was watching a few episodes of that show back when I was making the BTS series. What kind of cat is it? I'm kind of curious. You just said it's very pretty and cute. But that could be a lot of kinds of cats. It'd be like a tonk. Be a tabby. Could be, oh, he went live finally. Oh, he did. Okay. Yeah, I know people were saying that they'd come back from military service, but they haven't been doing as many live streams. So some people were telling me to wait and not make a sequel to BTS yet until they've had more time to do some live streaming to, to compare him a little bit better. He did a live earlier today and spent the whole time talking about his cat. He would. It's a large black house panther? What? A big black panther? Like, like a big, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Cute. Okay. I want to see what it looks like. He was on live. He showed it. He named it Tang. You mean tongue or tongue? Like, which is the word? Or just Tang. That's all cats being pretty and cute. I think, is there a cat that's not cute? No, I think they're all pretty cute. Even the ones that aren't supposed to be cats. like mountain lions, bobcats, they're cute too. Yeah, I think that qualifies for all cats. Apprentice Wizard, also thank you. 빌리 선생님 덕분에 저는 아직도 한국어를 공부하고 있어요. Oh, Raymond, thank you. Yeah, I'm still getting used to since YouTube switched the name. So thank you for putting your name there so I can remember that. Because I remembered, I was like, Apprentice Wizard. I've seen that before somewhere. Apprentice Wizard. Hold on, I'm gonna have to write this a little bit lower so I have space because I don't want to write Raymond's name squished. Okay, I'm gonna write it again down here. Thank you, both of you. Tang like sweet. Oh, you mean like tang? Or tang, like 설탕. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Tang. Yeah, that's why I was thinking Tang, like the powdered orange drink that people think the astronauts drank, but they never did. It's like, apparently it was just like one mission sent up Tang or something, but it was never drank. Something like that. Oh, hold on. Kat says something. Oh, thank you. Cat Crocs. Cat Crocs. Cat Crocs just sent me a donation as well. Thank you. Is this like a donation train? I got 3 in a row. Thank you to all 3 of you. And okay, even Grumpy Cat is cute. That is true. Keyboard Cat, if anyone remembers Cat, the keyboard cat. Cat on a piano in space. If we're going really far back, that's cute too. Garfield. Garfield's kind of cute, I guess. Yeah, Garfield's kind of cute. I'll say Garfield's cute. Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to not be a cute cat. Hung weighed 6.4 kilograms. That is that's a chonker right there. That is a chonker. Dang. Okay, so now we can go back to the lesson, hopefully. Tokbune, thank you again to the donation train we had. Tokbune. This is the most common way you're going to see tokbun used, is with the particle e. And it's used this way to continue the sentence. So you're not just saying, it is thanks to the end. You're saying, thanks to something or someone, and then what happened because of that. So like, thanks to my map, I didn't get lost. You know, thanks to this YouTube channel, I learned Korean. Something like that. You get the idea. This is the way it's going to be used 99% of the time. And let me give you 3 sentences. So here's our first example. 이 지도, this map, 덕분에, thanks to this map. 길 잃다 is to lose the way, literally, which means to get lost. 길을 잃지 않았어요. I didn't get lost thanks to this map. So thanks to this map, I didn't get lost. 이 지도 덕분에 길을 잃지 않았어요. 이 지도 덕분에 길을 잃지 않았어요. So I didn't get lost thanks to this map. Okay, I'll leave this up for just a minute, and then I have a couple more sentences we're going to do for this form. Again, this is the beginner level form. If you're higher than this level, we have an intermediate level form coming up next. Sidetracking the instructor. I know, but you're talking about cats, and that's one of my weaknesses too. I like cats. 6.4 kilograms though that cat, actually depending on the size of the cat, like the length of the cat, it could be okay. It could just be a big cat. But if it's like a short cat, that'd be pretty chonkery. We had a lot of cats, not a lot of cats, but we had always had like a cat growing up. The big tall boy, like my own house panther. Okay, it might not be chunky then. It could be like normal, just big cat. Specifically, we had, what would that be at a pounds? Well, you can do times 2.2 to get the pounds, but really quick in your head, you can just do times 2. So 6 times 2, it's going to be about 12, but you know, times 2.2, it's more than that. My cat weighs 5.9 kilograms. Yeah. I'm a cat person, so Shuka is my wrecker. I always had, most of the time we had at our house a Maine Coon. We've had We had 3 Maine Coons. We like them because they're kind of like wild cats. They eat mice. They like to live outside a lot, but they also like coming inside too. So it's like half a house cat and half an outdoor cat if you get a Maine Coon. And yeah, they're really furry and they look gigantic, but they're not like big. Like actually, they're really like muscular. They just have really long, thin fur. Gummy girl, thank you. When I started Korean, everyone recommended you as a teacher. I'm so glad they did. Oh, that's great. You're funny, kind, and good at what you do. L sounds like L. Thank you, Gummy girl. But all right, L here. I'm getting a nice donation train, I guess, because it's the holidays, because we just finished Christmas and a bunch of other holidays, and now we've got New Year's coming up. I want to talk at the end of our class today. I want to talk about New Year's resolutions a little bit. So if you've got a New Year's resolution, let me know at the end of class. Those are huge. My cat weighs 8 kilograms, but it's a big breed. What kind? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm more of a cat person than a dog person. Nothing against dogs. I mean, I like dogs too, but I usually like to be left alone when I'm at the house. If I'm like just at my house relaxing, I like dogs if I'm going to them, if I want to spend time with them, but sometimes I just want to relax by myself, and cats give me that. Cats are like, me too. Like, don't touch me, you know, but then they'll sometimes come up. They just want to be next to you, but they don't really want to bother you sometimes. They don't want you to bother them. Not enough space. Let's do that again. Okay. 모자 덕분에. So thanks to the hat. 모자 덕분에 머리가, so my head, in this case hair, 머리가 안 젖었어요. 젖다 is to get wet, so 안 젖었어요. My hair did not get wet thanks to the hat. 모자 때문에, 모자 덕분에, could do 때문에, it's a different form, but works as well. 모자 덕분에 머리가 안 젖었어요. So my hair didn't get wet thanks to the hat. 모자 덕분에 머리가 안 젖었어요. 머리가 안 젖었어요. 모자 덕분에. So thanks to the hat. Yeah, I have one more sentence with this form. It's pretty standard. There are more sentences for this in the worksheet, but I do want to move on. I don't want to spend all the time on this form right here. But that's pretty much it. You can say like, thanks to 아빠 덕분에, 이것 덕분에, thanks to this, 저것 덕분에, thanks to that, 태블릿 덕분에, thanks to the tablet, like thanks to anything, you know, 여러분 덕분에, thanks to all of you, like that. Siberian, oh, Siberian, cool. His name is Kimchi. That's cute. Welcome. Okay. Last sentence for this beginner form. Because that's really it. Just noun and 덕분에. All these sentences are in past tense, but it doesn't have to be. It can be, I can do something thanks to my friend. I will be able to thanks to my friend, or thanks to anything. It's really all there is to it. This is it. You just take a noun, you attach 덕분에, and then thanks to that noun, what happens? Or what happened or will happen? 친구 덕분에, thanks to my friend, 좋은 걸, which is 좋은 것, with the object marker, something good. 좋은 걸, something good, 배웠어요. So I learned good things thanks to my friend. Thanks to my friend, I learned some good things. 친구 덕분에 좋은 걸 배웠어요. Maybe if your friend is Korean, you can say 친구 덕분에 한국어를 배웠어요. I learned Korean thanks to my friend. Like that. That's really it. This form is it's really simple. Okay. Oh, one more thing. You can also start a sentence by just saying 덕분에 without a noun. So, what do you think that would mean? If I just said 덕분에 길을 잃지 않았어요. 덕분에 머리가 안 젖었어요. 덕분에 좋은 거를 배웠어요. 덕분에 by itself, without anything before it, just at the start of a sentence, by default means thanks to you. Or thanks to that, thanks to whatever it is that would be obvious to put in here. So you can say something like, oh, I was wearing my hat yesterday. 덕분에 머리가 안 젖었어요. Thanks to that, or maybe if you just want to say, thanks to you, I could learn Korean. Like after you see your teacher, you just want to say, 덕분에 한국어를 많이 배웠어요. Like that. By itself, it just means thanks to you or thanks to that. So you can also see a sentence that starts with this. You might also find this at the start of a sentence. You can also use 덕분 with verbs. Now remember, 덕분 means help or favor that's given. So help that is given. So if you use it after a verb, the way you do it is you change that verb, an action verb or a descriptive verb, into an adjective that's in the past tense. So what does that look like? Well, if you have an action verb, that will always end with either un or a nian. If you have a descriptive verb, that will always end with this form. 던, with these letters. So if you had a descriptive verb, for example, like 하다, if it was a descriptive verb, 하다 as an action verb will become 한, 먹다, to eat, as an action verb will become 먹은, or a descriptive verb, 하다, would become like 했던, for example. So these steps to turn it into an adjective are already taught in many of my other lessons. I also have a cheat sheet you can download from my Patreon page, which has all of the rules for conjugating this, no matter what sort of verb it is and ending it has. But once you've gotten an adjective in the past tense, then you can attach 덕분 to it. So by that it means thanks to doing something, if it's an action verb, or thanks to having been something, if it's a descriptive verb. But the usage of 덕분 here is the exact same as before, just now we're using it with verbs instead of nouns. So basically, thanks to having done, or thanks to having been, like that. Now, this usage, though, is less common than just using it after a noun. You're not going to see it as much. You might see it in like books, in kind of more fancy style writing. But because the literal meaning is a little bit fancier, like it's not just saying thanks to that, but it's saying thanks to having done that, or thanks to having been, like that. Because that meaning is a little bit fancier, this form is less common. So it's good to know, but you don't necessarily have to master it. unless you're already like at an advanced level. Okay. And the way it's used is the exact same way as the other form. So you'll either see it with 덕분이다 at the end of a sentence, like it is thanks to, or 덕분에, which is more common. So thanks to having been or having done whatever. Okay. I'm going to give you a few example sentences of this. 버스가, the bus, 일찍 오다, to come early. 일찍 온. So this is a past tense adjective form of the verb 오다, meaning to come here. So 버스가 일찍 온 덕분에, thanks to the fact that the bus came early. What might you say after that? Thanks to the bus coming early. 늦지 않았어요. 늦다 is to be late. 늦지 않았어요. I wasn't late thanks to the bus having come early. 버스가 일찍 온 덕분에 늦지 않았어요. One small note that's not related to the lesson, but anytime you see a foreign word in Korean, such as in this case, bus, which is from the English word, 버스 is from the English word bus, the official way to pronounce any of those words is always going to be how they're written. So, 버스, the end. But 9 times out of 10, in fact, like 999,999 out of a million, people are going to make the first consonant in a foreign word in Korean a double consonant, whether it was a single consonant or if it was a strong consonant. Doesn't matter what the consonant originally is. Most of the time, it'll get pronounced in everyday conversation as a double consonant. So you're not mishearing it. If I say 버스 with the double consonant, it's actually not written that way. It's just something for foreign words in Korea. It's more common that they get pronounced with double consonants. Another good example would be cafe. The Korean word for cafe is kape with a strong kiuk. So kape. You'll never see kape. You'll see it written that way, but usually people pronounce it as kape, as if it were a double consonant. Kape. Bosse. There are tons of these. So anytime you see a foreign word, most of the time it'll get pronounced as double. I would say don't do this by default unless you've heard someone else do it before, because there are words that are technically foreign words but aren't. They don't do this. But if you hear someone saying it like that, if you hear someone pronouncing a foreign word with a double consonant at the beginning, that's what they're doing. And feel free to imitate if you hear someone else use it. Don't just do like across the board for every single word that you think is a foreign word, just to be safe. But yeah, bosse. But the actual way should be posse. Got some hot tea. It's 보리차, barley tea. Okay, I'm not going to finish the sentence yet, but I want you to think of, just in English, just think of what could come after this. 매일 샐러드만 먹은 덕분에. 샐러드 is salad. 만, only salad every day. 먹다 is to eat. 먹은 덕분에. So thanks to having only eaten salad every single day, what might you think could come after that? Well, I lost a bunch of weight, maybe. Or my doctor says my blood sugar level went down or something. Anything like that. I just kind of wanted you to think about what could come after this sort of sentence. in this case, it's going to be really simple. It's just I lost weight. 살이 빠지다 is weight gets lost, gets left off, basically. 살이 빠지다, 살 빠지다. So I lost weight, literally weight was lost. 매일, every day, 샐러드만, only salad, 먹다, to eat, 먹은 덕분에. So thanks to having only eaten salad every day, 살이 빠졌어요. I lost weight thanks to having only eaten salad every single day. 매일 샐러드만 먹은 덕분에, 매일 샐러드만 먹은 덕분에 살이 빠졌어요. So I lost weight thanks to having only eaten salad every single day. So I lost weight thanks to only eating, but literally only have eaten salad every day. Okay, I'll leave this up for just a minute. Oh, Gaze says, I don't hear a difference between normal and double consonants. That's okay. We make double consonants in English too. Like, I guess a quick example is, okay, the word ska in English, you know, ska music. You say it as ska, ska, right? Ska. But you never think about, and there are a lot of other words we do in English too with double sounds, but you never once think about that sound when you're making it. It's just ska, obviously, but if you take out the S, you get ka. It's not ka, it's not ska, it's not ka music, it's ska, right? So that kind of thing. Even if you can make the sound, you won't hear it and you won't notice it until you've been doing it a lot. It just takes time. So yeah, don't be too harsh on yourself. It's something that you could be doing it correctly. You could, like, someone could tell you how to do it. You could perfectly mimic it. But it's going to take time before you start internalizing that just because you're not used to it. Chai, nice. Nice name. I started the beginner course and today I was at the topic marker lesson. Cool. 버스 기사님이 짜증난 운전자들한테 욕한 덕분에 짜증. Okay, since he swore at the driver, I mean at the annoying drivers. 제 시간에 도착했어요. So I arrived in time thanks to the bus driver swearing at all the annoying drivers. 건강해졌어요. I got healthy. Yeah, I got some energy, lost some fat. Yeah. 고양이 덕분에 이제 슈가가 저급하게 마법을 하면 겠어요? What's the ending? What's the ending part? I didn't realize I'd been seeing 덕분 all the time. Oh yeah, it's used a lot. Double consonants similar with English omitted. Oh, I see what you're trying to say. Yeah. I mean, there are ways to learn how to do the sounds yourself, and it really just takes time. Because I remember when I was first learning Korean and trying to make the sounds, like, I could imitate it if a Korean teacher's like, no, say it like this. You know, Koreans saying, it's not this, it's not ka, it's ga. And I would hear, okay, ka, ga. And they'd be like, okay. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't do it correctly, but with enough time, with hearing it enough, you'll get it. It's not like beyond our English speaking brain capability to do it. It just is something that takes time. And it's one of the other reasons why if someone's like, oh, you can learn to speak Korean in, all the basics in a month. Like, no, you can't, because even if you had a dictionary implanted in your head with every word in Korean, you wouldn't be able to pronounce it without a significant amount of time for your brain to get used to the sounds. There are just some hard limits for how long it takes to learn Korean. And yeah, it's not something you're going to master right away, so don't worry about it. And honestly, I've heard people speak Korean, like they have full conversations and they still are not pronouncing sounds correctly. And no one really cares if you're not doing it 100% accurately. It just takes a lot of practice and a lot of exposure to it. I have space. I think I have a little space over here. Let's see. Can I do this here? Does that fit? Okay, barely fits. Okay. 어제, yesterday. 잠을 자다, to sleep. In this case, 잠을 적게 자다. 적다 is to be few or a little bit. 적게, so that it is only a little bit, literally. So like only a little bit. 잠을 적게 자다, to not sleep very much. 잠을 적게 잔 덕분에. So thanks to the fact that I only slept a little bit yesterday, or I didn't sleep much yesterday, 적다 is the opposite of 많다, if that helps. 많다 is like 많이, like a lot. So the opposite of 많이 is 적게. So thanks to that, 오늘, today, 일찍, early, 자다, to sleep. 잘 수 있다, I can sleep. 잘 수 있을 것 같다, I think I will be able to sleep. I think I can sleep. So I think I'm going to be able to sleep early today thanks to having not slept much last night. 어제 잠을 적게 잔 덕분에 오늘 일찍 잘 수 있을 것 같아요. So thanks to sleeping a little bit yesterday, I think I'll be able to go to sleep early today. 어제 잠을 적게 잔 덕분에 오늘 일찍 잘 수 있을 것 같아요. The sentence is a little bit longer. I'll leave this up for a minute so you can copy anything down. And then I have another sentence. This is a fast lesson though, just because, I mean, you learn how to use it. It's like all 덕분에, like 99% of the time it's 덕분에. And also 99% of the time it's just 덕분에 after a noun. I hope Shuga gets into witchcraft. That's true, he's got a black cat. Gazer says, I'm not an English native. I've been learning and speaking English for 15 years and still can't pronounce, for example, the TH sound. I have very strong Polish accent. Okay, and I'm partially tone deaf. That might make it a little harder. But have you had any issues with people they still understand you, right? Like, as long as they understand you when you say like this or the or the, you know, as long as they understand you, does it really matter? And the same thing is with Korean. Like, getting native Korean speaking is not to, I don't mean this to sound demotivating. Rather, you don't need to set this as your goal and then feel demotivated when you won't reach it. But native level Korean from a non-native speaker is impossible. I've never seen it in my over 15 years of learning Korean. No, 20 years. Yeah, 20 years of learning Korean and 13 years of teaching it. I've never once, not even once, seen a non-native speaker of Korean learn Korean to sound exactly like a native, like indistinguishable from a native. Never happened. The exceptions would be people who move to Korea at a young age, in which case you're just basically, you're learning as a native speaker anyway. Like if you move to Korea at 9, 10 years old, then you speak Korean like a native. Well, obviously you will, because anyone who comes to the US at that age also is going to speak native level English. But once it's like past high school, it doesn't happen. It's something to do with the way that our brains learn and the way we retain information, especially for how we use language. It's not a necessary goal either. And if you can get just conversational Korean, that's amazing already. But you don't need to try for like 100% native, because I mean, you wouldn't be able to do that for yourself anyway. Even if we say it's possible, you wouldn't be able to give the amount of time that would take. 12 hours a day, all day, speaking with your whole family, all your friends in that language, reading only that language in books, playing games, not even touching English, like zero English, 100% in this language. Would you live in that environment? And even if you leave that environment for a year, that level will decrease. Like someone who is born in a foreign country and moves to the US at a young age, they'll speak that foreign language for maybe a couple of years and then it'll diminish and then they'll sound more childlike. So if someone comes to Korea, like someone moves to the US in high school and they speak Korean, right? But then after a few years, they're not going to speak Korean much anymore. And then pretty soon, if they go back to Korea, they're not going to be able to understand stuff very well. Like your language will decrease after not being in that environment. So yeah, don't worry about that. Don't beat yourself up over native, like 100% native pronunciation. But very good pronunciation where nobody will care is absolutely within the reach of everyone. And anyone that I know who speaks Korean, like fully conversationally, is at that level already. Like once you get to the fully conversational level, naturally through the amount of time and practice and listening practice that takes anyway, you're going to have decent pronunciation. I don't know anyone, I can't think of anyone who has like is fully conversational in Korean, but is not understandable, like sounds bad or anything. They all sound like pretty good. Of course, there are some who are like, oh, really good, and some who are okay, but they all sound good. And that's more of a reasonable goal to have. No one from Korea expects non-native learners to speak Korean. There's absolutely no one in Korea who expects you to say anything at all, even hello. If you watch my most recent podcast, I also talk about that. I talk about what things impress Koreans and what things don't. If you can literally just say 안녕하세요, 감사합니다, that you're good. You have impressed a Korean today. Anything beyond that is just like the cherry on top. Like that's how low the expectations are for speaking Korean. Now, there are a lot of foreigners nowadays who can speak Korean, so Koreans won't be as shocked about it as they would, say, 10, 20 years ago, but they're still impressed if you can say anything at all, because most tourists can't say anything. They can't read the alphabet either. So, yeah, you're already doing a really good job. And you don't have to worry too much about like impressing Koreans beyond the basics. Okay, let's do one more sentence for this. Okay. 날씨가 빨리 추워진 덕분에 패딩이 많이 팔렸어요. 날씨가, the weather, 빨리, quickly, 추워지다, to get cold. 추워진, past tense, 덕분에, thanks to the weather having gotten quickly cold, thanks to the weather having gotten cold quickly, because the weather got cold really quick, 패딩 is like a padded jacket. In Korean, those types of padded jackets are called 패딩. 패딩이 팔리다 is to be sold. But the passive verbs, like to be sold, not to sell, but to be sold, are commonly used in Korea as a way to say can and can't. So like we could sell 팔렸어요. Literally, they were sold. But this is like saying we could sell 많이, a lot of padded jackets, thanks to the fact that it got cold all of a sudden. 날씨가 빨리 추워진 덕분에 패딩이 많이 팔렸어요. So you are working at a store that sells these types of padded jackets, and thanks to the weather getting cold all of a sudden, you were able to sell a lot of those. 날씨가 빨리 추워진 덕분에 패딩이 많이 팔렸어요. Thanks to the weather quickly getting cold, we were able to sell a lot of padded jackets. Literally, a lot of padded jackets were sold. Okay, I'll leave this up for a minute. But you can trick someone for like a minute. If you are talking with someone on the phone, you can trick them like indefinitely, because they would never think in a million years that the person they're talking with is not a Korean. You can do the same thing online in games. If you're talking with someone in like a Discord chat or on a mobile game or online game or whatever, and you're speaking Korean, they would never in a million years think that you're not a Korean, even if your pronunciation isn't perfect, because they can't see you and because they are thinking, if someone's speaking Korean, they're obviously a Korean. They don't have a face to tell them otherwise. So yeah, you can definitely trick someone for a while if you're just talking, if they only hear your voice. In person, however, you're not going to trick anyone. You might get people, though, thinking that you were born in Korea if your Korean gets really good. But they're not going to think like, I mean, if they see your face, they're going to know something's up. Like, oh, are your parents, one of your parents Korean? You were born in Korea? So I love cats, but I'm allergic. Please adopt a black cat. Yeah, that's true. Black cats get mistreated. It's not fair. Seriously, it's not fair. No one from Korea expects non-native. Oh yeah, that's right. You said that before. I mean, I read that before. My sister ate 멸치, like all of it at my friend's house in Seoul, and my Korean friend thought it was the best thing ever. Yes, if you like Korean traditional food, like that, 멸치 would be banchan, like the side dish. That's my favorite side dish too, is the crunchy little anchovies, right? They're kind of like sweet, and they have like I think it's walnut, like little crumbs of walnut and stuff. Yeah, I like that one too. 이것도 너무 럭키 비키예요. Okay. So again, using it with verbs is much less common, but that's all there is to it. 덕분, 덕분에, and 덕분이다. That's the lesson. Let me take a quick thumbnail. Something like that. That'll be the thumbnail. I'm going to take any questions that anyone has. And if you don't have a question, what I would like to know from you is, did you set any New Year's resolution for learning Korean, like anything specific? And if you did, share it here. If you didn't, but you want some advice or you want some feedback on your New Year's resolution, feel free also to post that in chat. I will be giving free advice if anyone wants for kind of like looking over your New Year's resolution and letting you know if that's good or not. So feel free to post those in the chat. Also, if you are beyond the beginner level, especially make sure to get the worksheet for this lesson, which has 13 additional sentences on it you can practice with, because we only did some short ones here. I can only do the sentences that'll fit on the board, but there are some longer, more complex ones that are not in here. That's the lesson. So I'm going to stick around for like 30 minutes. We'll do some New Year's resolutions, chat. Angel Harmony is asking, can you pronounce this as 덕분? No. 덕 would sound like the rice cake. 덕, like basically like mochi. It's not 덕분, it's 덕분. Oh, Ayani. Okay, thank you. I want to pass topic 2. Anna, what is your current topic score? Because that could be a very good goal, or it could be an absolutely impossible goal if you've never taken it before. If my friend would give the teacher a gift, I would say, 선생님한테 선물 드려. Yeah. No, if your friend it's not necessarily lowering your friend as much. I mean, literally you are lowering your friend, but it's more of like saying, if you're on a 반말 speaking basis with your friend, then it's fine. 선생님한테 드려. Like, hey, give that up to the teacher. It's not so much like saying you go down and give it up, but it's like, hey, you know that the teacher's above you. Give it to them. It's kind of like what you're saying, and that's fine. And parents will also do that a lot. They'll say like, 할아버지한테 드려. Like, give it to your grandfather. They're not like saying like, get on your knees and give him the gift. It's like, your grandfather's worthy of respect. Give it to them is what they're saying. Oh, hold on. Keith. Oh, wait a second. Keith, did you tell me you sent a donation? I didn't even notice it. I just saw my screen had a notification on it. I see Keith had also sent a donation too. Thank you, Keith. Did you tell me and I just didn't see your message? Or were you trying to keep it a secret from me? It was off the record. Oh, I'm sorry. Then you should have said that, Keith. That's your fault. Should have been like, psst, Billy, PayPal, but it wasn't me. Then I would have known it's off the record. So thank you. Thank you off the record also. Thank you. I'll cut this out of the live stream when I make the edited version, so no one will know. I'll put like, I'll redact it. I'll put like a black bar over the Keith thing. But I'll do it in YouTube Studio. That way you can just remove it and see what it said anyway. Tips on how to improve my reading speed. Let's see. Hold on. I want to make sure if I don't miss any other comments before. Learn more. Oh, Cat says, Cat memes. That's right. There are a couple cats. Learn more vocab and improve my speaking, listening skills. Okay. Use more of the grammar I have learned. Okay. That's good. Get better at conversational. Hope to get a level in 2026 where I can have basic conversations. Okay. You've only been studying for 2 months. Basic conversations is doable. Like full conversations that are slow is pretty much like closer to fluency. Like that's in the kind of beginning fluency level, but basic, simple conversations is doable. If you go through my entire beginner course and then you watch the conversation course, you could totally do that in a year and that'll bring you up to like basic conversational level, but not fully conversational level. In 2023, I passed TOPIK 1. Okay. Then you're going up, 3 levels. But that was 2023. So you might be higher than that now. It could be a perfectly feasible level then, since you've already taken the TOPIK once. Oh, Sunny Southpaw, thank you. All donations go toward bottles of Martinelli's so I can drink at 9 o'clock at night and tell my kid, Jeremy, that it's midnight so that he'll go to bed early. And then I go to bed early too, because I still have to wake up and take him to school. Thank you, everyone. Martinelli's expensive. I'm not much of a drinker. I remember one year I wanted to try champagne for the New Year because I thought, you know, everyone has that for New Year's and it looks cool and it's all bubbly. And my wife and I, we researched it. I got a bottle of what everyone said was like a good starter to try. You know, popped it up. You're like, yeah, Happy New Year. We took a sip and our faces were both like, we had like we had just like 2 sips and then we just like poured the rest down the drain. We're like, nah, it's not for us. My resolution for New Year's to become more fluent at speaking and understanding Korean. Okay. My goals are understanding Hangul. 100% you could do that. Improve conversational Korean and speak with confidence. This might be time to cash in those dabs. Anyone who'd like to cash in their dabs is free. The exchange rate is $1 for 1 dab. And I'll also accept Canadian dollars. So it's the one time where you get, you know, more value for your Canadian dollar. Normally it's the other way where the US dollar is more over there, but this time you get the same as us. I'll just reserve to do the same thing I do every day. Try it. Yeah. Yeah. Nice, brain. Hello. Good morning from Korea. I need to improve my writing skills. This is the most difficult part for me. All right. Alex says, I don't see where to make a donation. Oh, there should be like a little support button on YouTube, unless you're in a country that doesn't have it. Patreon, the people who donate on PayPal, they're just going to my website and clicking the donate, the support button. That's separate. Martinelli's is the best New Year's drink. Yes. Sparkling apple juice. Exactly. It's wonderful. I don't know. I'm just not much for, you know, alcoholic drinks. I think alcohol kind of breaks me. Like my body can't handle it. I don't know. It doesn't make me like angry or depressed or like super happy or anything. It just makes me in like a really good mood. but I'm usually already in a good mood, so it doesn't really do anything to me. It just tastes gross. Duck Boon. Yes. Duck Minute. I bought all your books for myself for Christmas. Nice, Edge Runner. Does your name have anything to do with cyberpunk, or is it just unrelated to that? Sunny Southpaw. I want to improve my Korean speaking and listening in 2026. Native Koreans tend to speak Korean faster than I can listen. Yes. Have fun storming the castle. Different movie, but yes. Oh God, that is such a good movie. Princess Bride. If you've never seen The Princess Bride, watch it once. It's great. It's so quotable. Also, if you already have seen The Princess Bride, watch was it Tubi? It was like whatever, a bunch of celebrities during COVID made their own version of Princess Bride, like recorded individual scenes. It's really funny. You can find the Princess Bride remake. People have assembled them together and put the music back in and subtitles and everything. They were all filmed vertically, but they kind of formatted it so it'll fit on a screen again. It's great. Great movie. One of my main 2026 was taking classes to practice speaking, and I'm starting an intermediate course at nice! Sejongakdang. Lost in translation. A couple hundred years ago, champagne was considered failed wine. Okay. Well, today I would still consider it. Actually, I don't know. Is it failed wine or... I don't like wine either. I think wine tastes gross. I'm sorry. My genes, I'm sure it's something to do with my genes, hate alcohol. Like, I know everyone's a little different. Some people are like, they're genetically predisposed to like that taste. And for whatever reason, my wife and I are just genetically predisposed to not like it. It just doesn't match. Like, we can't drink it. It tastes horrible. I still, though, with that said, I still will drink it sometimes. Like if you hang out with friends in Korea, it's common if you get dinner that people will drink. It's just kind of a general thing. You don't have to though nowadays. A lot of people don't. In the past though, it was more like you have to. Nowadays, it's just if you want to. But sometimes I will. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's really sad about Rob Renner. I know. I was really sad about that too. Edge Runner says, yes, I love cyberpunk. I'm also into ethical hacking and work in cybersecurity. Oh, nice. That's actually really cool. But yeah, cyberpunk. The show is actually pretty fun. I enjoyed that. My goal is to learn Korean and work remotely in South Korea. Make USA dollars in South Korea. Yes. Yes. I know I'll have to pay double taxes. Kind of. You don't, though, for a while. Like, you don't for the first certain amount that you make or something like that. You don't have to do double taxing. But still, the amount that you're making, even when you do pay extra taxes, is way better than you would make normally in Korea with a regular job. And then, yeah, you won't have to keep up with the Korean work ethic, and you won't have to worry about the higher fees outside of Korea. Like if you're in the US or some such other places, you get the lower cost of living in Korea. Many in Asia have a gene that makes them not metabolize. That's right. Yeah, a lot of people will get red faces when they drink as well. It's just really common. I don't have that. My body can process it fine. I just, I've never gotten sick from it. I just don't like it. It's that it makes you feel good. Sure. That's true. Evolving brain. That's true. But yeah, I said for me, it just makes me like in a really good mood, but it's like a really good mood, but that's pretty much it. But so I'll drink it like, socially I can if I'm with friends, but I never once have gone out of my way by myself to drink anything. I've never had the craving once. Okay. If you have a New Year's resolution you'd like feedback, let me know. I'll give you some feedback if you have any resolutions, or if you have any Korean questions, now is a good time to ask. I'm going to stick around until 3:30, which is 30 minutes from right now in my time zone. Edge Runner says, glad my plan is better than I thought. I plan to visit South Korea first in 2027, using all my paid time off, spend a couple months in Busan. Busan's great. I liked it. Makes it easy for K-dramas to silently indicate when a character has been drinking. Just put a little blush over their nose and cheekbones. Sure. That's true. Martini and Rossi Asti Frozen. Martini. That's the James Bond thing. Although I did try it once. I did try that once. It was actually okay. It tasted like a Christmas tree, is what I remember. And I'm like, okay, that's not bad. But yeah, I've never had cravings for it. Just be careful when you open it. Yeah, and also don't put any glass into the freezer. That's a bad idea too. Can you recommend sites for beginner readers, like children's news sites or blogs? Yes. Search for kids Tonga. Tonga is just a news. It's like, like NBC, it's the standard news in one of the common news in Korea. And they have a kids version of the website, which is made for kids, but it's not like it's not only children's news. It's regular news written for kids. So you get the same articles. You're going to get the same like political articles or science or whatever, but also in there is going to be some articles that are specifically for kids, like, oh, school did this activity or whatever, but it's regular Korean. It's not dumbed down. It's just regular Korean, but a little bit simplified for kids. So that's one place I recommend. Besides that, though, for news, no, because I wouldn't say news is a great place for Korean practice. It's going to be another set of vocab that you're not going to get from conversation. This, though, is kind of okay. Besides that, I would say books that you're interested in. So not kids' books. Kids' books are, again, a different set of vocabulary. Like the sounds the animals make is not important to know until you can first have a conversation. Like, fairy tale vocabulary, once upon a time, and they all lived happily ever after. Like, you don't need these expressions when you can't yet have a conversation. So kids' books aren't the best for that. Regular teenager or adult books are fine if you're a learner. But I would say the best book you can do would be something that you're actually interested in reading. So don't just go and buy whatever other people recommend. Buy something that looks interesting to you. And then besides books, though, I would just recommend lots of listening for conversations, since conversation is going to be what you're really after as a beginner. When you think about getting fluent in Korean, you're thinking about getting good at speaking and understanding first. Not being able to read complicated texts and write complicated texts is not at the top of everyone's priority list, and conversations are going to be better for that. Happy New Year for you and your family. Thank you, Hilda. Evolving says, have you noticed differences in the way young people in Korea intonate over the last 15 years? I can tell between, like, if you go back and listen to Korean from the 90s, you can really hear, it sounds like how people who are now in their 60s talk. But besides that, from people nowadays, it's a little bit faster. I haven't really done like too much thinking about that, like how it's different. I'm sure it's changed. How has it changed significantly in the past 15, 20 years? I just think that at least the people who speak like Korean from the 90s and 80s, that sort of speaking is nowadays what you'll hear from older people. Whereas when I was in Korea first, that was not the type of Korean I'd hear from older people. That was the adult, like the people who are in their 40s and 50s would say. And the older Korean people I would hear was the people who actually were growing up in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. And a lot of those people have already passed away. I'm sure it'll be easier to tell, give it another 10 years and say, hey, how is the Korean from the early 2000s when you started different than the Korean now, or from in the 2020s like that? I think though mainly it's going to be things like speed. I hear people speaking a little bit more quickly, a little bit more clearly. Also, you get a little bit less of like the lazy sounds for speaking, which I can hear a lot of older people do sometimes, like vowels especially. You hear more clear vowels. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that comes to mind. I'd have to think about it more though if I wanted to go in depth. You got the 진짜 무서운 이야기 book that Jeremy got? Yeah, no, it's not supposed to be really easy, but it's a real book. He likes it. Jeremy really liked that book. Do you have any resources for continued education after my books? My 3 Korean Made Simple books will take you up to a low intermediate level, in what I consider low intermediate. Another source might consider it to be advanced, so there really isn't a official level, but what I consider is intermediate is when you're starting to get into the actually having conversations level, and my book will take you to the lower end of that, the 3 of them. If you combine them with my conversation course, my 2 reading books, Korean Reading Made Simple 1 and 2, and then review with my sentence connectors book, that would be into full conversational level. But it's a lot of stuff. And you wouldn't only use my books either. No one's books will take you to fluency. Like you can't learn fluent speaking from books. So my books are kind of just the recipes in the kitchen, but you're still going to have to go and cook. And that's going to be lots of listening practice and speaking practice. So like what Cosmo was saying he's doing with a free talking tutor, you just hire a tutor just to do free talking a couple times a week. That sort of like actual practice, having online friends, having listening practice. So YouTubers that you like or podcasters that you like, regular content you're consuming on a regular basis. Those sorts of things are what's going to make it work. But yeah, for my stuff, I mean, I can support someone up to an advanced level because I have material that goes well into the advanced level, but no one's going to learn Korean by sticking to books in the end. So my books are just supposed to be like, hey, here's this form. Hopefully you're seeing this form somewhere else, but here's how it works. And then you say, oh, you're right. I did hear that once. Oh, I see. And the next time you hear it, oh, I see. Now I get it. That's what it's supposed to do. Naver has sentences. Yes. Naver has a lot of example sentences, though be careful of some of them because they're sentences that are from grammar lesson books and they can be really awkward sometimes, the Naver example sentences. It doesn't always show you where the sentence comes from. I prefer though, Naver still has lots of sentences, but I prefer if you scroll down, it'll have sentences from, is it Weverse? Or VLive or something like that. It'll have sentences from like live streams or other actual resources at the bottom of the sentence example list. So check those ones out. Those will be more real. I bought the Korean version of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, you mean? The Sorcerer's Stone, that's just the English one, the American one. Want to be able to read it? Okay. Yeah, I know some people who've done that. They bought all of the Harry Potter books in Korean and actually read the Harry Potter books in Korean. And they do help with reading skills. They will not help you much with your speaking, but they'll help you with your reading. But that's a good skill too. I think as far as news, the weather report could be helpful. Yes and no, but you're going to be learning a lot of words you will not need in real life. Just like you would if you were to watch the weather. Actually, not in English because I take that back. In American news, we're very casual about giving news reports. It's just people talking. But in other countries, it's very official. They have to memorize what they're saying, and they're like reporting it very accurately with perfect pronunciation, no jokes, and high level vocabulary. Mikey says, this might be a good task for ChatGPT. Okay, let's see. I need to drink some more tea before I give an answer on ChatGPT. Copy paste something and ask it to make it readable for a TOPIK 2 level. Basically, you're telling it to rewrite something a little bit more simply. It's probably fine. No, like ChatGPT is not, it's just a tool. What things is the tool good at and what things is the tool poor at? It's poor at generating example sentences. it's poor at explaining questions. It's good at summarizing. In fact, if anyone remembers, there have been websites to summarize blogs like a decade before ChatGPT or Bing AI was announced. You put the website in, it would read it, it would summarize it, make it short. Like, that's been around for a long time. That kind of thing ChatGPT is good at. Summarizing something for you. Taking what's already there and shortening it. Good. It's going to be fine. Just having a chat, like talking with someone, like chatting with someone just for fun. ChatGPT, it's not going to be 100% natural, but it's going to make sense. It's going to be like better than nothing. But yeah, I just say be careful about it. Don't ask it like questions. Do your books on Amazon work with the first 100 lessons? Those are separate. The books are for people who are learning Korean in a structured environment, and they teach in a different order than the video course. They also go up to a higher level. So the video courses, I made it knowing that it's only going to be a contained course. So everything's kind of taught a little bit more quickly and a little bit simpler. The books, though, are not quite as simple. They'll go more in depth. There are more notes here and there, like, oh, by the way, this form is this also. And the video course is not, it's not supposed to be like, it's supposed to be a little bit simpler than that. So no, they don't work together. But if you're doing one or the other, you can use the other as an additional resource to help you review stuff you're learning in the other one. Like, a lot of people use my books and then they'll also watch the video course after it. Like, they'll do the first book and then they'll watch the first, say, 20, 30 episodes of the video course, and that'll be review for the stuff they already learned in the book, or vice versa. If they're doing the video course first, they can use the book to kind of pick out similar lessons. But whatever you're using, just stick to that one as your main resource and just use the other for like watching it, taking notes, but not necessarily following that curriculum for what you're learning. 4월에 한국에 다시 갈 거예요. Oh, nice. Nice. That's a good time to go to Korea. Billy, ChatGPT mentioned. Let me wet my whistle. Yeah. Because I see how much ChatGPT gets used for Korean education, and some of it's good. The majority is bad. And the part of the reason for that is because Koreans are very AI positive, just as a culture right now, that you will see openly AI generated advertisements when you go like looking at advertisements on posters, advertisements in the movie theater, like video advertisements. You'll see AI stuff all over the place. Lots of Korean people will tell you that they talk with ChatGPT, or they'll say, oh, ChatGPT is my friend. Like, that's ChatGPT is my best friend. There are a lot of people that say ChatGPT is their friend, and they're not completely joking. They're saying it kind of in a cute way, but they're serious. Like, the ChatGPT will be the person that they tell everything to. They're very AI positive. So because of that, you get a lot of people who think in Korea as well, like, hey, well, ChatGPT is great. It should be able to do all these things for me, including teaching Korean. And it's like, I mean, if you have we have an expression in English, like when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. It's kind of like that, where it has uses that are fun, and it has useful uses as well, but that doesn't mean it's useful for everything. And Korean teaching is one where it's laughably bad. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Korean teacher and AI is going to come for my job. I mean, honestly, if AI is able to teach Korean as well as I can or better, I'm going to tell you guys while I'm crying. I'm not going to hold that information back because I have a YouTube channel. My ultimate goal is for you guys to learn Korean. But it's laughably bad when it comes to actually teaching Korean. And then generating example sentences is also pretty bad sometimes. It will just make stuff up and tell you, here you go. Like if you say, hey, generate me an example sentence of this grammar form, and it'll give you like a really awkward sentence. And it'll double down when you ask about it, but it'll immediately backtrack if you say it's wrong. Even if it's correct, you can test it. Ask it a question and say, hey, you made a mistake. This is not correct. It'll backtrack even if you're wrong. So it can't teach. But yeah, I don't want people to think though it's not useful at all, but I think for language education, especially with a language like Korean, where it just doesn't have enough data for it, it doesn't do that good of a job. And it's really common that I see unnatural sentences with Korean. And even if they're not unnatural, sometimes it'll give you, like, for a really basic topic, like, hey, give me a bunch of example sentences using like eso and gaji, like to and from. So you'd think it would give you a bunch of good sentences, something so simple. And you'll say, oh yeah, sure, here you go, 100 sentences, great. Those 100 sentences are going to be the exact same style of sentence that it gives to the next person and to the next person. So if you see a book written with ChatGPT, it's going to be the exact same style of sentences over and over and over again. And it's so easy to tell if someone just used ChatGPT to write their sentences. Gemini is the same. If you're wondering, well, what about insert other AI? They all work on the same technology. They are all what's known as large language models. They're designed to basically like autocomplete what they're going to say. And that system of auto-completing the next word is not intelligence. And that's the problem at its core, is that all of them are different levels of autocomplete and work better or worse for certain types of autocompletion. But at its core, you can't teach a language with autocomplete. You need something behind their thinking about where and when they should use these autocomplete skills. And there's nothing behind it yet. I don't know. Maybe they'll make a future version of AI that has like multiple layers so that can kind of like think and use its autocomplete better. But none of them currently have anything useful for language learning. Get in the habit of asking, what was incorrect about what you just told me? It'll always say something. Yes, that's true. It'll always say something, even if it's like a perfect example. And sometimes it'll tell you like a perfect explanation of something, but you say, oh, wait, I think that's incorrect. It'll be, oh, you're right. I am so sorry. I said, it's like, wait, no, you were actually right. Yeah, AI is boring. I think the job security outlook is sure. Okay, that's another way to look at it. Gummy Girl says ChatGPT was more helpful for planning a study routine than actually teaching me things. It can be good for that. Although, again, it doesn't have a brain, so it might make you a study routine that is physically impossible to complete. Like it might say, oh, spend the first week learning the alphabet and then spend a week learning this. When it doesn't take a week to learn the alphabet and it takes more than a week to learn the other thing. Like it does that sort of stuff all the time. It doesn't know how long it actually takes to learn something, and it can't calculate that because it's only going off of other language that it has to work with. Other people that have said, you know, oh, this takes this long to learn on the internet. And if that person's wrong, all it's doing is just grabbing it and saying it back to you without any double checking. So that's the problem with it. And a lot of the content, I mean, the reason I was a Korean teacher, I wanted to be a Korean teacher in the first place is, like I said, because so many people kept asking the same question. Think about that for a second. There was barely any content for learning Korean on YouTube when I started my YouTube channel, but there was a lot of content out there for learning Korean in the form of blogs. Why do you think I wanted to become a teacher? Like, why do you think so many people had these same exact questions if there were so many different blogs and stuff for learning Korean at the time? It's because they were so bad. They taught so bad. I'm not calling any of them out by name. There were so many blogs out there at the time that were teaching random Korean grammar and vocab that were so wrong and so confusing that people, even when they were using them, they kept coming back and asking the same questions again because they weren't being taught. All of that bad information, like not just low quality bad, but like actually wrong information, is what the LLMs right now are also taking in as part of their research. So they have this 2008 blog entry about how to use the Tay form. Let's grab that. Someone asked about the Tay form. Let's see, I have these lessons about the Tay form here. I have a high quality one from Go Billy Korean, another one from here. And oh, well, this piece of information, I'm going to grab it from here. And this one I'm going to grab from here. And this looks good. Here you go. And now you got this like someone threw up in your soup. You got this nice bowl of soup with this really weird thing sticking out of it. And then that's an inherent flaw of all LLMs right now, is that they don't have a way to intelligently know what's good and what's bad to give to the user. My grandson is 100 days old tomorrow and ChatGPT made a peg your photo. Nice. Yeah, like that's like fun stuff, you know, generating videos of Bob Barker swearing at people when they lose The Price is Right. Like that's a funny usage of AI. But yeah, it's like, I want my flying car. Yeah, in the 50s, they told us our meals would be cooked for us while we drove our flying cars. Do our meals get cooked for us? No. Does Amazon never released their drone program either? That was just marketing. Remember that? Where they're like, we're launching all these drones to deliver packages. They never did that. It was just for boosting their stock. Jetsons food making. Okay. Unfortunately, AI is costing people their jobs. That's another unfortunate thing. Is it worth the funny photos we get from AI to disrupt the market this much? I mean, if you talk with a company now, good luck getting a human. It's always like the companies will throw their AI bots at you first, and you have to navigate through it to get a real person on the chat. That would have been a person's job originally, you know, maybe not a great paying job, not a great job, but it was still a job. What was your favorite book when your Korean was beginner level? I did not read a lot of books when I was a beginner. I would read dictionaries and grammar references in Korean, and I still have some of those. But yeah, as far as books goes, I think some comics. I would read some comics at the time. I had a book that was English, French, and Japanese, and Korean. I think I still have, oh yeah, I do have one of those. I have a book that's Japanese, English, and Korean because I was still doing Japanese study at the time. That's like a children's story book. It was like a bunch of children's stories in all three languages. But I'm not really sure my favorite book when I was a beginner. I think for really like beginner level, more than books was just all the conversations was more helpful. Okay, just another 7 minutes before I end the live stream for today. Oh yeah, Jelmer, exactly. Amazon, do you remember they had that store where you walk in, you scan your Amazon ID, and the way it works is you just pick the item you want, put it in your cart. If you don't want it, put it back, and then you just leave. That was it. You don't have to check out, and they would know through special AI, it would know exactly what you bought, except that it was really just like an Indian call center where each employee was manually looking at each person and seeing which items did they take and which items did they put back, and then calculating. Yeah, and they obviously shut it down. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing with those those life-size robots or whatever that Elon Musk was claiming to have, which were also just remotely controlled. And then he'd be like, "No, they're not remotely controlled, and they're just some dude in in another building wearing a VR headset controlling it." Come on, what's with all these like rich people trying to show off this technology that they're like dangling in front of you like a carrot just to make their stock go up, and then they don't actually release it because they can't. Amazon couldn't make those drones because of legal reasons. The FAA can't have all these little drones flying around near houses and coordinate that. Where are they supposed to land? What if you have a dog? How are they supposed to make sure it doesn't land and hit the dog or land on the roof or hurt someone? Like, they're not going to deal with all the logistics of that. They just wanted to dangle in front of your head so you'll think their stock's worth more. I love my Korean frequency dictionary. I skip what useless words. Okay. It's pronunciation of Google Translate, which makes me laugh as it sometimes says it's wrong. If only rich people were learning Korean. Sure. Yes, if there is someone rich learning Korean, send me an email. I will be completely, what's the word? Mum's the word. No one has to know that I'm tutoring you in Korean unless you're like actually a terrible person. I'm not tutoring you. But if you're a regular rich person, I will privately tutor you. No one will know. And I'll charge you a buttload of money, but you'll get your money's worth. And everyone else, you get free lessons on every Sunday. Yeah, it was just, I mean, I'm joking and saying it's an Indian call center employee. I don't really know their nationality. That's just the stereotype is like the call center employee would be someone in India. At least the, what isn't a stereotype would be all of those Microsoft scam emails, which would be typically run out of India. But yeah. Do you ever talk with Hyunwoo about AI? I haven't talked with him about AI. Cat Croc's Korean Frequency Dictionary. I found Billy Go books on Coupang. Oh, okay. Do you still get a piece if I buy it used? If you buy it used from a user, like it's already purchased, you're buying it used? No, but do it. Like, I'm not going to tell you spend more of your money to get my books. There are plenty of people out there who just illegally pirate my books. And I honestly, if you don't have the money, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, what does bother me is when people will resell it illegally, like they'll upload it on other websites and they'll sell the files. That's not cool. Like, people who are pirating it really just don't have any money for it. The ones who are selling it, though, are the ones that I actually don't like. But yeah, if you can buy it used, that's cool. I don't get a cut if you buy it used because it's not getting, I only get a cut when it's printed, but nothing against it. Really happy still to be a part of your Korean journey, no matter how you got my book. AI robots operating on you. I mean, I'm not really so much against a pre-programmed set of instructions doing an operation if they can test it first, right? It's not like the idea of an LLM is bad, but it's just, you got to be careful where you use it, right? Like maybe a AI robot that does an operation that it can do a lot of the tasks that would normally take a bunch of assistants. Like the doctor's kind of overseeing it, but there can be one robot that does the cutting, like fusing, grabs all the extra tools. And then if the doctor needs to, he's got a little footstool. He can like, speed it up and slow it down like a sewing machine, and he can stop it. If he sees like the robot's not quite working, like for maybe the cutting part, the doctor can do that himself or herself. Then the doctor can kind of, get in and do it, and then have the robot be like, okay, sew it up. And the robot's like, all right, here's the path, proceed. And the doctor's like, looks good, does it all for him. And then the doctor can work longer hours without getting as exhausted and help more patients. That kind of thing is cool if they can make it work. I don't see a problem with that. But yeah, I think the name AI is part of the problem because it's not intelligence yet. It's just autocorrect. Will there be a live stream lesson next week? Yes, but I don't know the topic. I need to pick some new topics. If anyone has any requests, send them over. If not, I have some ideas that I'll put on the vote. Jude Bude, thank you. Happy New Year. Looking forward to another year of Korean with you. Here we go. I think I wrote that correctly. Cosma as well. See you next year. Podcast with Hyunwoo discussing AI. I would have to invite him on my podcast sometime. I'm not sure if he would join, but yeah, that could be kind of a cool episode. I would like to do another episode about AI. Yeah, assistive aid. I have no issues with that. I think an a robot that can assist a doctor with surgery, like something that's extremely hard to deal with, just like don't equip the robot with the essential stuff, right? But everything else could be helped with that. Like you have jobs that are done that require a person there normally. Like you want the anesthesiologist to be a human for right now. But things like handing the doctor the tools, switching out the tools and stuff, like that could be done by a robot and not take up extra space from people. You want to make sure you have a lot of space there. You don't want too many people around the surgery table. Other tasks that are just, they're simple, but they take a lot of skill and precision, like sewing, like sutures and stuff, robot could do that. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, use it for its benefits, not for, don't just say, oh, we can get a robot to do all of that. Like, no. Use it for its good points. It's the same with Korean learning. Like, the good points of AI are not the teaching parts. It's not the bulk of what you need for learning Korean. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Thank you, Noah Deeps. If anyone's looking for an expression to say Happy New Year, it is exactly what Noah Deeps wrote. Routledge Frequency Dictionary of Korean. You can get a frequency list for free also. They have some that they published, which come with like the definitions and stuff that like a official company makes. You can get a free one. It doesn't really matter. The point is that you don't want to learn the words initially from the frequency list. I would say it's more like you look at the frequency list and find the words you already have heard before a lot, and then learn those ones. And if you hear a new word a lot, try searching it in that as well to see if it's actually useful. Naver also, though, will tell you, if you search on Naver Dictionary, it'll have a 3-star system, and it'll do like 1, 2, or 3. 3 stars is a really common word. 2 is also pretty common. 1 is common. Anything without any stars means it's not one of the super common words. But 1 doesn't mean not common. It also, any stars at all means it's a common good word. So if you look up a word and it has a star next to it, you probably want to learn it. 3 stars, you definitely want to learn it. What are your thoughts on pre-made Anki decks? Same thing as my thoughts on, I mean, I have a pre-made Anki deck. It's not quite a full Anki deck. It's more of like advanced words and, you know, interesting expressions and like that. Don't study from them. Use them as kind of like a list of vocabulary words. So you can look through the list. You can look through the Anki words. You can look through a frequency word list and find the words that look really interesting and useful to you. And that's it. Don't bother just like throwing it into your deck and just studying based on those, because you won't know how to actually use those words. Even if they give you an example sentence, that's not enough. You need to know like what situation was that example sentence? Where did it come from? Like, is that from a book? Is that from a game? Is that from conversation? Because you can use these words that'll sound awkward if you like speak them when they're supposed to be a form that's used in just writing. There are a lot of words like that. There's like a whole category of verbs that goes with something ti, something ta, like 예쁘디 예쁘다. Like there's a bunch of these verbs and it's like a whole class of these verbs. They're only used in writing, but you'll see them in writing and then you might say, oh, it's like, oh, 정말 예쁘디 예쁜 옷이네요. And it suddenly sounds really awkward because it's not a word that's used in speech. So yeah, just careful about which words you're actually going to use. I think it's more of like use it as a reference. Any last questions? Yeah, so those are my thoughts on pre-made Anki decks. Or Anki. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. I know it's from Japanese, so it's Anki. But I still feel like Anki sounds okay sometimes. Let's see here. Did I miss any other important questions? I think that's good for today, unless there's like one last question. Do. Again, this is Happy New Year. If you're talking to your friend, you can say 받아, or 받아요 for your friend. 새해 복 많이 받으세요 is the default way to say Happy New Year. So you can say this in the New Year. You can say it again coming up for the other Korean New Year as well. But say this to all your Korean friends. I'm sure they'll love it. Yeah, we'll have another live stream on Sunday. Do some dabs quickly. We'll do 2026 dabs for the new year. Just give me a second. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming, and I will see you again next week. Wait. Next year. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.